Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, I want to talk about how to get the most out of each different form of exercise. Compounds, isolations, cables, machines, etc. Before I get into that topic, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. The best topic ideas I turn into videos just like this. If you'd like to learn more about my documentary, 96 Hours, we're looking for people to back it. You can check out the link below. Now through the 4th of July, if you back the documentary with at least a $10 contribution, you are registered to win a free 6 months of coaching from me. All right. Compound movements, isolation movements, cable movements, machine movements. We have a myriad of different types of movements in the gym, right? Different types. We have body weight, different things. Now, I'm going to teach you something very simple, something to remember if you are power building, if you are trying to build as much strength and muscle as possible, how to approach these different exercises, or a way to consider approaching these different exercises. Now, the other day I talked about compound movements, how it's a pet peeve of mine that certain lifters, certain YouTube salaries, certain top name trainers will try to turn compound movements into isolation movements, and I'm not going to rehash that. It's an awful idea. It's really misguided, and you should never do it. So let's start with that. Let's start with that as a cornerstone. You're in the gym. You have compounds, you have machines, you have cables, you have isolations, you have body weight exercises. How do you approach each one? Okay, a compound movement, your big hitters, your barbell and dumbbell exercises, barbell bench, dumbbell bench, overhead military press, overhead dumbbell press, barbell and dumbbell rows. You get it, right? The big hitting exercises. Those you focus on form. Those are all about form mastery and taking care of your body. If you do not focus on form while moving that weight through space, over time, you're going to beat up your body, and it's going to increase the likelihood of injury. You need to take compound exercises seriously. You need to take form seriously. You do not try to break these down and get a feel for a muscle while you're doing them, unless you dial down the weight to such a ridiculously minimal level or moderate level. Let me put moderate level, not to trigger anyone, that you're able to just do something with a very moderate amount of weight and still focus on a muscle group. Bench press, for example. If you want to, like when I was hitting 365 by 5 or whatever I was doing that day, if I wanted to drop the weight and focus on a muscle, then I would probably have to drop it down to like 185 and do a lot of volume and really focus on the muscle. So compound movements, form, form, form. You do not focus on muscles. You do not focus on anything other than form and moving that weight through space with good form when you're using most sets. The only caveat is when you drop the weight down to a very moderate level after you've done the heavy work, then you could do something like that. All right, so body weight exercises, push-ups, dips, pull-ups, chin-ups, etc. Body weight exercises are a special class. They're all pretty much different. Dips, push-ups, pull-ups, depending on your strength level, you could make these more of an isolation type exercise where you slow them down and focus on a contraction. You don't have to treat them as much like a compound movement, but with that said, you need to have a very fundamental understanding of dip form and of pull-up form. And once you are able to perform a body weight exercise like a dip or a pull-up with a great amount of efficiency, like you get very, very good at these and very strong, then on dips you could kind of slow them down, maybe focus more on a stretch, etc. So with body weight exercises, you go in and you try to master them with good form, improve them with good form, and at that point, if you want to slow them down or focus more on a contraction, etc., you can. It's very hard for most of us to get to the point in pull-ups where we can actually focus more on a lat contraction because we're simply not that strong with our body weight exercises. So take form seriously on them. And if you get super strong at them, then you might be able to slow the reps down a little bit, focus more on contraction of the lats or getting a good chest stretch and chest feeling in your chest. All right, so machines, isolations, cables, that sort of thing. Now, for the most part, this is how I advocate approaching these exercises. And there are exceptions, like leg press, for example. You should probably treat a leg press more like a squat because you're using a lot of weight, and you really want to focus on proper form, not letting your butt come up when your knees are coming down, etc. But when it comes to machines and cables and isolation type of movements, I like to slow the movement down a little bit and feel the contraction, feel the muscle working throughout the entire range of motion, up and down through the eccentric and concentric part of the lift. What does that mean? You're doing a curl, okay? Instead of just jerking it up and letting it down, jerking it up and letting it down, I like to feel the muscle coming up, and I like to feel it going down. You can do that with a leg press. You can feel it working as you press and as you lower the weight as well. So you're focusing more on just slowing the reps down a hair, okay? Slowing them down just a hair. We're not worried about time under tension per se. We're worried more about just getting more of a contraction, more of a muscle feel on these things. Curls, tricep extensions. Some exercises like tricep extensions, it's certainly fine to go a little bit stronger and more explosive and then maybe slow things down. That's okay. But for the most part, if you want to get the most bang for the buck out of these types of movements, it's not as critical to obsess about form. Not that you don't want to use good form, you certainly do, but the body is not going to be beat up if you slow things down a little bit and focus more on getting a good contraction and then having a nice controlled eccentric, if that makes sense. So on cables, on machines, those sorts of things, it's okay to slow things down. Isolation exercises, your dumbbell curls, your tricep exercises, etc. These are generalizations, okay? It's not black and white for everything. Tricep exercises, like close grip benches, like dips, you really have to have a quality focus on form so you're not jacking yourself up. But at that point, if you want to slow things down a little bit and start to feel the triceps more, that's perfectly fine. So I hope this video made some sense. Compounds, 100% form. Don't try to feel the muscle working. Just try to perform the lift properly and trust that all the muscles will work. And the rest of the exercises, you don't have to train in this way, but you can, and it's a nice, refreshing way where you can stop, actually take time to feel the muscle, have a slower eccentric, a slower concentric, and you're still going to focus on progression, obviously. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. If you made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.